Ever wondered how it would be to have anime powers in real life, like being able to summon a giant robot from nowhere? Well, let's find out. Imagine for a moment that you could harness the power of a Super Saiyan, or perhaps conjure up a shadow doppelganger at will. Sounds exciting, right? But let's take a humorous spin on this. How practical would these abilities really be in our everyday lives? Would they be a blessing or a curse? Ready to dive into the world of anime powers, my dear otakus? Buckle up. Starting off our list at number 10 is the power to transform into a beast. This power is a classic in the anime world. You've probably seen it in action in shows like Naruto or Attack on Titan. But have you ever thought about what would happen if you had this power in real life? One moment, you're sipping a cup of tea. The next moment, you're a rampaging beast, knocking over everything in sight. Your clothes? Ruined. And let's not even get started on the havoc you'd wreak on your surroundings. Can you imagine the look on your neighbor's face when they see a giant beast where your house used to be? Not to mention the transformation process itself is likely to be rather unpleasant. Picture the growing pains, but 1,000 times worse. So unless you're planning to join a circus, this power might not be that handy in real life. At number 9, we have the awesome power to summon a giant mech from thin air. A stunning spectacle on screen, this power hails from the universe of mecha anime, where towering robots are commonplace. It's a power that's as awe-inspiring as it is exhilarating, but let's pause for a moment and consider the real-world implications. Imagine you're out for a stroll when suddenly you feel the need to summon your colossal metallic companion. But wait, where would you park a 20-story robot? Your driveway might be a tad too small, don't you think? And then there's the question of fuel. We're talking about a machine that would make a jumbo jet look like a toy. The fuel consumption would be astronomical. And let's not even get started on the maintenance costs. In the real world, unless you have a spare parking lot for a giant robot and a personal oil refinery, this power is more of a headache. Coming in at number 8, it's the power of friendship. The power of friendship is a trope as old as time in the world of anime. The idea that the bond between friends can give characters a boost in strength, resolve, or even unlock new abilities is a beloved and often heartwarming plot device. But what happens when we try to apply this power to the real world? Imagine you're trying to lift a heavy box, but you're alone. The power of friendship isn't going to help you there. Or perhaps you're in a challenging situation with someone who isn't exactly a friend. Your power of friendship is suddenly a bit useless, isn't it? In the end, the power of friendship is a beautiful concept for storytelling, reminding us of the importance of bonds and camaraderie. But as a practical power in real life, it leaves a lot to be desired. So it's a great power for an anime, but not so much for your everyday life. Moving swiftly on to numbers 7, 6, and 5 on our list. Let's start with number 7, the power of invisibility, made famous by the character Toru Hagakura from My Hero Academia. Now I know what you're thinking, invisibility sounds great, right? Well, imagine trying to cross the street without being seen. You'd be taking your life into your own hands every time you step off the curb. Not to mention, you'd never be able to enjoy a sunny day at the beach without causing mass panic. Next up, at number 6, is the power of time travel, as seen in Steins Gate. The protagonist, Okabe Rintaro, or Huin Kyuma, as he prefers to be called, can send messages to his past self. But think about it. If we could all send messages to our past selves, wouldn't we just be stuck in an endless loop of second-guessing and regret? And let's not even get started on the potential paradoxes. And finally, at number 5, we have the power of Geese from Code Geass. Lelouch Lamperouge can command anyone to do anything, but only once and while maintaining direct eye contact. Sounds pretty useful until you realize that in the age of smartphones and social media, direct eye contact is a rare commodity. And let's face it, getting anyone to do anything these days is a challenge in itself, let alone with the added pressure of only having one shot at it. So there you have it, 3 more anime powers that would be absolutely useless in real life. From the danger of invisibility to the potential chaos of time travel and the pressure of commanding with geese, these powers might look cool on screen, but in reality, they'd be more trouble than they're worth. As you can see, not every cool anime power translates well into the real world. We're getting closer to the top with powers 4, 3, and 2. First up, we have the power of invincibility. Sounds amazing, right? Who wouldn't want to be invincible? Well, let's take a look at this power as seen in the anime Berserk, where the protagonist's guts is practically invincible. But if you were to transplant this power into the real world, it would mean an existence devoid of the thrill of danger or the satisfaction of overcoming obstacles. Life would be a constant state of monotony without the risk of failure or the joy of success. Next, we have the power of time manipulation, a classic scene in Steins Gate. The protagonist, Okabe, could manipulate time to suit his needs. Now in the real world, this could easily lead to chaos. Imagine being able to go back in time to fix every little mistake you've ever made. Would you ever grow as a person? Would you ever learn from your mistakes? The potential for abuse and the repercussions of altering the timeline are just too great. And finally, we have the power of telepathy. This power is seen in the anime Code Geass, where the protagonist, Lelouch, can control people's minds. A power that seems incredibly useful at first glance, but consider the implications. Would you really want to know everyone's thoughts all the time? You'd be privy to every negative opinion, every judgment, every secret. It would be an overwhelming and isolating experience, not to mention the ethical implications of controlling someone's mind against their will. So, there you have it. Invincibility, time manipulation, and telepathy. Powers that might seem awesome when you're watching your favorite anime, but in the real world, they carry with them a host of problems and ethical dilemmas. Wow, these anime powers are starting to seem less and less appealing, aren't they? And finally, the number one anime power that you definitely wouldn't want in real life is, drumroll please, the ability to turn rice into sake. Originating from the comedy anime series Nihon Chinbotsu 2020, this superpower, while it may sound like a party trick, is utterly useless unless you fancy a career as a walking, talking distillery. Imagine you're in a meeting, you reach for a handful of rice from your lunchbox to nibble on, and boom, it's sake. Not exactly practical, is it? And let's not even start on the potential legal implications. Underage drinking, anyone? Accidental public intoxication? The list goes on. In a world where superpowers range from super strength to mind control, turning rice into sake just doesn't cut it. It's more of a hindrance than a help. So there you have it. The number one anime power that's utterly useless in real life. So, there we have it, folks. Our top 10 anime powers that would be utterly useless in real life. We kicked things off with the power of questions. An intriguing concept, but in reality, it would just turn you into that annoying person at parties who won't stop asking odd questions. Then we had transforming into a beast. Cool on screen. But imagine the dry cleaning bills, not to mention the potential for unfortunate transformations at inopportune moments. Summoning a mecha was next on the list. Sure, it's great for saving the world, but where would you even park it? Plus the fuel costs would be astronomical. We then took a look at the power of friendship. Heartwarming in anime, but in real life, it won't stop your boss from giving you a hard time for being late. Powers 7 to 5 were equally absurd, ranging from magic eyes that can see through walls, a clear invasion of privacy, to the ability to manipulate paper. Talk about a party trick gone wrong. Powers 4 to 2 weren't much better. Super speed might sound fun, but without super reflexes, it's a recipe for disaster. And let's not forget the power to become invisible, a surefire way to get accidentally stepped on. Lastly, we had the most useless power of all, the power to, drumroll please, grow your hair at will. Talk about a split-end nightmare. Remember, not all that glitters in anime is gold in real life. Until next time, stay fantastic and keep watching anime.